What's happening, brother? I don't know why my first instinct whenever I'm doing something wrestling is always Hulk Hogan. That's the oldest shit in the world. Yo, you know who I used to love doing when it was my time in the wrestling era was The Rock, bro. The people's eyebrow. We'd always, The Rock had all them crazy mannerisms. So he was sitting there, turn his head, put his head down or whatever, put his eyebrow up. You smell The Rock. Listen, bro, The Rock is my boy. Y'all know him as Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but I know as the pie eating, banana drinking, pie eating, whatever.
Oh man,
I miss that shit, yo. I miss it. But listen, be like, what's good? We just had something happen, right? It's summertime. It is hot. But they in the ring, and we was watching Summerslam. Guess what? It's Brian B. And we bringing back a wrestler, part of the ring himself. It's the American prodigy, Mr. Warren Marlowe, Brian B. On the line, it's the ENT show. Let's go.
Let's make some noise.
Brian B. Show off, baby.
Fight.
Tonight.
This movie right here.
Signed to a local hot label, Big O Records.
I'm gonna do it later. Now.
It's the B line. It's the B line. It's the B line.
ENT.
This is incredible. Like, I've been watching, for fans who don't know, I've been a wrestling fan my whole life. WWE. I know I've had previous shows, we've talked about things like this or whatever, but I've been a fan of wrestling forever, yo. I was watching wrestling when it was Hulk Hogan, it was Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man. That's when I was into it. But I grew up on the Attitude Era. One of the best eras, I think, in professional wrestling, as far as when you're talking storyline, as far as when you're talking, people just captivated by wrestling. I remember wrestling was like, you would quit your job if you had to work on a Monday night, bro. Like, forget about it. But Warren, he's back, the American prodigy, Warren Marlowe. Give it up for him. God, you know he's on the line all the time. What up, Warren?
what up, man, Brian?
I'm on tonight,
that intro, bro, is second to none.
I'm on tonight, man.
I know it. I love it. And you
Yes,
know
sir.
what? I don't ever do this, but you did have a Rock promo type reference. So
Man, listen.
I guess it's only proper for me to do it. Finally.
Yes. Listen.
I'm back on the B-line, baby. AP
Yo.
is here. That's right, guys. I am back. It is going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely gonna be a lot of fun.
Let's go.
I'm glad
Let's
to
go.
have you, bro. It's been fun, yo. You've been definitely a reoccurring guest on the show, and it's funny how you just said that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna talk about B-line. We're gonna talk about SummerSlam, of course. SummerSlam just happened. We're also gonna talk about a lot of stuff that's happened. This is a wrestling episode. Like I said, I'm wrestling heavy. I love wrestling, yo. The word that you just said, finally, The Rock has come back. Yo, do you remember the electricity, like the most electrifying? And yo, when you think of stuff like that, as fans of wrestling, bro, like that's how easy it was to fall in love with those guys, man. Like, you sit there, you couldn't wait for The Rock to come out. You couldn't wait for Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Mankind, all of them people, just because of their energy, like the excitement that they brought, bro. Like, I was watching this thing that I earlier. It was just one of the episodes of The Rock, and I think they were saying, like, everybody always talks about The Rock and his mic skills and his acting skills and everything like that. But you forget The Rock was an incredible wrestler too, man. And he did he had one of the things, I think it was like a tag match, and he was I think he was fighting Chris Jericho and somebody else or whatever. But he was beating up. He did the dude flew out the fucking ring, and then the other guy came, picked him up, and the crowd was just,
just in there.
It was
it's
here,
in there.
and then the crowd was like, oh shit, bro, man, there's no touching that shit, yo.
See, my thing is, and I know exactly what you're referencing. It's the A&E Rivals show where they were talking about Stone Cold and The Rock. And I love the fact that people said, Rock and Austin were right there.
Right neck
It
and
wasn't
neck.
like one up. It wasn't like, and they said it was even controversial that Rock also beat Austin at times. Like those two just kept going. It was like
Yeah.
literally just right there, neck and neck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I love the reference because Rock, I still believe, is the best babyface that's ever been. Even though everyone still says the main draw, which yes, maybe, but I'm a Rock fan. I wasn't the Stone Cold, diehard Stone Cold fan. I was the Rock. That's
Austin,
who I
bro.
like. And
Yeah.
it's just crazy to see. And I'll tell you right now, the way wrestling is, I think wrestling's gonna get back to what we have that feeling for. I say
think so.
the combination, the example of how we saw the Attitude Era, I would say is like the Avengers. You watched all these movies, you've been captivated by their story, you've been captivated by their powers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they became as one, that's like the Attitude Era right there. You got The Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold, Kane,
Yeah.
Undertaker, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Chris
he really
Jericho, Benoit. I mean, just all these group of guys just come in there. The Acolytes. I mean, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Like those are who I call the Avengers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's how you get invested into a story. That's how you get into that. I sit here and call wrestling, and I'm so glad I didn't have to work, or thank goodness I was a little kid in the Attitude Era, because good Lord, if I had to work on a Monday night or a Friday or a Thursday night, it wouldn't go well, or even a Sunday night, which is so crazy because with the Attitude Era, you had so many different chances of watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And
really,
a lot of people don't realize that. You had Monday Night Raw, you had Wednesday Confidential, I think it was something like that, where they would like do like a pre-show. Saturday morning, they would have a pre-show of just what happened on SmackDown and Raw. And then you had Sunday for Sunday Night Heat to go on. So you had so much ways to stay in tune with WWE. You didn't have a clue what other brand was going out, because on your TV, it's talking about Undertaker, Triple H.
They were the top, man. WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. They were the top. That's why it's acknowledged. And of course, you've always had competition. You always had, pretty much always have had competition. But you had WCW at one point, and then you had WCW was probably the biggest name, when it was come to comparison. If anybody knew any other kind of wrestling foundation, was WCW back in the day. After WCW was bought out, it was literally just WWF, man, WWE.
Yep.
You still had New Japan Pro Wrestling, you still had Ring of Honor, you still had those guys that were around. Then Jeff
just
Jarrett
never knew of them
at TNA.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm an independent wrestler, and I will tell you, you never heard of these, because it was nothing else broadcast like this. Like WWE was all over your TVs. Like if you heard pro wrestling, exactly.
That. Yeah, you didn't have.
Well, we had the AOL, but obviously
that
10 minutes, that 10 minutes sitting there clicking in,
Yeah.
First thing you're looking at, you just got your hand on that W because you're ready to go WWE
or
WWF.
Yep. Exactly.
That's the easiest thing to type in.
Yep.
You could be a 5-year-old and you would know exactly how to type.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like they knew how to grow this business because it was so captivating. I tell people right now, WWF was literally like a fantasy of what anybody wanted to do as a lifestyle. Who wouldn't want to stun their boss? Who wouldn't have wanted to just basically be in third person and people just chant, sing along with you and stuff like that?
Captivate the crowd.
A random person carrying a sock made it captivating for you to pop like you just met Michael Jordan or something.
For real.
These are those things of how to tell a story with a character, with a person. And I mean, I don't know, Brian. I think it's coming back. I really think we're about to be in an era of happiness again.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it. And that's one of the things I wanted to have this show, of course. So for fans of wrestling, it's going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about a lot. They're
starting to call me the talk man of wrestling nowadays.
Yeah, you do. You actually do a lot of shows. Of course, hey guys, if you haven't, I kind of missed everything. This is a conversation I love, man. Like I said, but like, share, subscribe, follow Mr. Warren Marlowe at Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. You can have his information in. Marlowe's been on for a bunch of times now. But we're trying to get these regular. Like I do want to do more regular events with like when the pay-per-views happen and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't as interested and as excited as I am now because, like you just said, we just had the first event. Let's talk about the first event before we get into SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest changes that just happened in recent weeks, Vince McMahon, the person that brought us all this wrestling with WWF, WWE, his father, you know what I'm saying? Vincent Kennedy McMahon has retired from WWE. And, it's a lot of scandals going on. It's a lot of different things. And, who can imagine what's real and what's not. But he's not there anymore.
Exactly.
And in his place, you know what I'm saying? In his place is, who took over is Stephanie McMahon, his daughter. And you got Nick Khan, who I'm not even really too sure Nick Khan is. But I know he's co-owning with Stephanie McMahon. And Triple H is now in control of the creative aspect of is it all the shows pretty much? Is it
Yep.
NXT,
he's the guy that books the matches, say what he wants out of the matches, and recruits talent now. Like Triple H has got full creative control of it.
Yeah. My fourth favorite wrestler of all time, Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock. We talked this business. Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, and Triple H, bro. Those are my dudes, yo. For
I would be my Mount Rushmore. I'd literally say to this day, man, it would not be a Rock or Austin if it wasn't for Triple H.
Bro,
like Triple H is what really, I mean, honestly, we all compare Rock and Austin, but Triple H was right there with them. Like, I think if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for Triple H, you wouldn't have got so invested into these two baby faces. I get it. Stone Cold was built up with that. I mean, I get it where Stone Cold was built up with Vince McMahon, which that is really what made him. But still, you needed a good dance partner. Rock could not be any better. Triple H was their ultimate reserve, and Triple H delivered every single time. I remember how many Era to Era episodes have you watched that literally you wanted to see someone beat the living hell out of Triple H.
Yeah, that's why. He was, and Triple H glorified, from what I understand, like Ric Flair is like Triple H's like prodigy. Like he loves Ric Flair. And
I would compare both of them together.
The dirtiest players in the game. I think Triple H is probably the greatest heel. The greatest heel of that's ever existed in wrestling, yo. If you remember, even if you loved Triple H when he was, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, like he was definitely something different than what anybody else was kind of expecting. You hated him as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You did that stupid little dance.
You thought
like that.
Good example. Theory.
Yo.
Think of it this way, and I think Theory is going to be in that next ballot running is because everyone thought it was handed to them. Because Triple H, you didn't know backstory of wrestling. That's why Triple H was so damn good. That's why Ric Flair was so damn good, because we didn't know of, hey, vengeance, type in, spoilers of what the show is going to be. Like it literally happened in front of you and you were just mind blown.
Man.
The time Triple H retired, Mick Foley, I would sit here and say that's probably still one of the saddest moments of wrestling is Mick Foley losing in all his personas to Triple H. Cactus Jack beating the living snot out of Triple H in the Hell in the Cell. Like those things, I still think Theory might be in that category because Theory has really became that old school heel nowadays. You're thinking, because Vince McMahon was his prodigy. Like Vince came up with that idea, which I think is the smartest idea Vince did with this group so far, is coming out, putting Theory as his prodigy. Not just because he's a friend of mine, because it makes sense. Because Vince is your all-time bad guy. So what is the easiest way for someone to hate somebody? Vince McMahon get behind him.
But I think
because now that's like Thanos. Literally, you're not going to cheer for anyone beside Thanos because you're going to look for Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, or I would say Hawkeye before Black Widow. But those cassette guys to literally go, I can't wait till this person beats them up. I think if you didn't get Theory, you wouldn't got Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley right now is one of the top babyface draws right now because of Theory.
I draw the hammer and shit. I don't agree with that at all, man. Listen, I love Bobby Lashley, right? I think he's a great performer. I think he's a great wrestler. I gotta be real, yo. Bobby Lashley, first off, like for me, his mic work is trash, yo. I can't get behind.
Just make it short and sweet. Just make it short and sweet.
But I'm saying it's still like he's never like really even when his first run with WWE. Like I always thought he was a big dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was always interesting. It's always interesting when it's a big ass guy. But I don't know, bro. Like I liked him when the Hurt Business. I like him as a heel. But when they got him as a baby face, I wouldn't even call him a baby face, to be real. I call him a face. Like,
it's a neutral. It's a neutral back and forth. It's kind of like Kevin Owens. Kevin
Owens. I think Kevin Owens is
very
one of the most underrated dudes. I think Kevin Owens, given the proper push and the proper agenda,
the way wrestling is booked now,
for sure.
Just be patient.
See, it's gonna hard.
You are not going to see the end of Kevin Owens. You are not going to see the end of Kevin Owens because the guy that is booking everything now is a big fan of KO.
Well,
a big fan
I can't
of
wait
KO.
to see that, man.
But here's the thing, too. We also got to look at it as this way. There's so much talent.
Yeah.
And any of them could be a main draw. But it's different when the pressure is on them. Think of it this way. A great example, Finn Balor. As much as I was invested into Finn Balor, which my son really flat out calls me Finn all the time. He's like, Dad, you and Finn Balor look alike so much. It's unreal. Like, and it's crazy because it's like, you know, Finn looks like that persona of an ultimate babyface. But his reactions, the way his promos and the way his stuff is, he's not a babyface. He is a true on heel. And but here's the thing. We sit here and say, oh, we underutilize talent. We do this, we do this. Finn got hurt when he won the Universal Championship.
Yep, right away.
And that's what they look at is like, okay, there was your shot. Now we got over 200 people behind you. And yes, I get, oh, Finn didn't get his shot back, whatever. It's not the fact that you win the match to get pushed. You're in a title picture. That's all that is persona is called a push. Is because now you're getting to showcase yourself on this main platform title. And a lot of people drive me nuts when they sit here and say this. And God forbid, I don't know if I'm considered a heel or a babyface on wrestling podcasts nowadays, just because I sit here and just acknowledge what is given presentation on a TV screen. We shouldn't know who the bad guy is. We should wait in the match and it should be able to tell us who this guy is. Like I give a great example, Miz. You're going to go for anyone that's going against the Miz. Great example, Logan Paul. And Logan Paul was booed.
Logan Paul
booed
out the
building.
Listen, I fuck with Logan Paul, yo. I never thought I never
exactly.
All right, let's
the end of the match.
Let's break this down a little bit because we're gonna be all over the place. I gotta keep this structured. This is an entertainment show. All right, hold on. Wait, what are we doing? We're just talking freely here. All right, let's jump into SummerSlam here. Let's start off with first off, how'd you feel about it? I thought amazing. I loved it, bro. It was incredible, yo. It was definitely incredible. I thought that was one of the most exciting pay-per-views that I've watched in WWE in, I mean, years maybe. I can't even remember a comparison to where I was like, damn, I'm like everybody, even IT Tiff was captivated. She don't even watch wrestling. And she's like, damn, what the hell is he doing? SummerSlam started off, if I can remember right. What was the first match that came on? It was
Bianca and Becky.
Bianca and Becky. Amazing match, bro. I thought that what I love from that match, Bianca and Becky, Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I was hating it at first because I was like, okay, they're fifth time like fighting, literally, like they fought at WrestleMania, they fought at SummerSlam last year, and I fight in SummerSlam. I'm like, oh man, I can't do it. Constant repetitiveness. But the narrative of how they told the story while they did the wrestling was, I thought, phenomenal. She was focusing on the arm. She did the damn KOD on the outside. It was just so much like more than in the previous matches that I saw, which I thought were really good. But you can just tell a difference in like the narrative of the story in the ring this time around.
The thing is, she made the move matter. That's the problem with wrestling on certain things now. I get shot on it so bad. This is what I see wrong with AEW. They do so much moves, but you're not even giving time for the move to even look like it happened.
Had an effect, yeah.
Like I was on, shout out to the third generation wrestling pod. I was on there with them after SummerSlam to give like a SummerSlam reaction and stuff like that. And it was basically to give a memory of my good friend MJ Book that passed away not even 6 months ago. Oh, and he would have been super happy of the ending of that match for sure, because he is a diehard Bayley fan. But that match,
my baby, bro. I love Bayley.
When a lot of people were talking about, and they were talking about, they were not happy about the match starting slow because of the personal issue between them. They thought it should have went by fast paced and went like a straight, like a brawl match. And I told him no, because Bianca needed to and I told him no. I said, think it this way: how did she lose the first match in SummerSlam? She second guessed it and instantly went in to try to do a move and got beat instantly because she was based off reaction. So you want to go in there slow. You want to go in there, work an arm, whatever. Becky did the smartest thing, literally going in for that disarmer every second. So when she got it in, people knows it's done. That's the match.
Yeah.
And plus, she can't carry her with the KOD,
she got
which
jacked up.
That is one thing I was a little mad with Bianca, and Bianca needs to kind of like analyze that a little bit better. Is if someone is attacking your arm, you need to sell the arm.
Tell the story. Yep, exactly.
Because
that's that old school
when she did the KOD,
too.
She instantly went for the pin. I'm sitting there, I'm like, she didn't even hold her arm. Like, it's making it look like all those moves that Becky did not mean anything. And that's the one thing I didn't rate the match a freaking A or whatever it was, is because I didn't like the fact that Bianca wasn't selling the moves that she was doing. I get it. She was based off emotion. She was doing the match based off
some
emotion.
parts. It was some parts that I feel like she was, if I can remember all the way. Yeah, it wasn't, but she didn't sell the KOD at the end. But
when she did the KOD, I should have expected her to feel like sell
like
that thing like she just broke her
shoulder. Yeah, because Becky was fucking her arm up that whole match. That's what I like. But like you said, that's the old school kind of like that storytelling. That's what Jim Cornette is always complaining about and stuff. But he's right, because like you said, it doesn't always have to be I'm doing 700
you can't watch
moves
a tennis
in the
match.
ring. Bro,
you cannot watch a tennis match.
You want to see that comeback match. You want to see that that triumph over tragedy. Like, you know, I remember, one wrestler in general, one of my favorite wrestlers as well, Bret Hart. Bret Hart was the king at telling a story. You knew he was working your legs because he wanted to get you ready for the sharpshooter. Every match, he'd take you out, pull you around the thing, and stretch your leg on the damn turnbuckle post or whatever. Bro, that makes you intrigued, like, oh, I know why he's doing it. Oh, he's trying to get him. When he gets that sharpshooter, it's done. It's even understandable why it's done. So if he does a sharpshooter at the beginning of the match, somebody kicks out, that's because he didn't work his legs good enough. It's telling
he didn't get it fast enough. He didn't get it too hard or something like that.
So
and the best thing about the announcers when they would talk about that too is he didn't look like he got it in that time.
Yeah,
especially when he did the sharpshooter and he would get the rope or whatever, and he's like, oh, he must have not tightened it up a little bit more. He was probably more hesitant. Like, they would sell it to make it so believable. Like, oh, that's how he got out of it.
Exactly.
And like Stone Cold getting out of that sharpshooter with the blood and everything, like that just made it where he passed out. Like those are the things, and I still preach about it now. And I think we're gonna get it now that Triple H is running it more. Is they're gonna show that the moves need to matter more. Yeah. And people shoot on WWE so much, but WWE actually does broadcast the moves. Like, they show the body parts that what you're working. Like, it may not be that fast-paced lucha libre, I'm going to somersault 4 times out of the ring, and then pop back in and do a super kick and then do another backflip. Oh yeah, that's just the start of the match. Like, that just, it's cool to watch. It's cool to watch, but you're not gonna watch a whole damn match card like that.
No, yeah, and also, and I mean, it's just like kind of speaking for the wrestlers, which I'm not a fucking wrestler, but I can just understand by doing so much of that, your
longevity gets killed off.
Exactly, more open for injury. So if you are trying to be someone like you just said about Finn Balor, and he's not somebody that I see doing too much flippy stuff, but
he's narrowed down so much since he's been in WWE.
He's probably had to, man, because like you just said, he had his match where he won his title and he lost the opportunity because of injury. Injury can happen at any part, but it's way more likely to happen if you're consistently every move you got, you flipping over the rail, you're doing this, you're doing that, high rope maneuvers, like you're going to get jacked up. One thing I noticed from a Beeline, Warren was just talking about it, but I hope you enjoyed, like, the videos, me, Jay Flash, my kids, and JD the Mouth. We all went to, we got free tickets to go to SmackDown, man. And it was amazing. So much fun. We had amazing seats. I was loud as hell. I had the shirts repping all day. But one of the things, damn, what the hell was I just about to compare it to? I completely lost my train of thought while I was over here saying it. What was you
talking about? Moves. Talking about the moves and the longevity moves with Finn Balor.
What the fuck was this? I completely just forgot what I was going to tie that shit into. You said it and you made me remember it.
It's based off of longevity because like how you just said, anyone can get hurt, but still you got to know your limits.
Yeah.
And I'm a valid talker about this because that's why I only wrestled for 6 years, because I was smart my first 3 to 4 years. I was smart wrestling. Like I did an old school background. Like I would do maybe a slingshot off the middle rope every other then. Then when I got more popular, my fifth and sixth year, oh yeah, guess what? I'm getting almost big time now. Oh yeah, I got to stand out because I'm not 275 pounds. I've got to do my purpose to get on this card. And now we got big guys doing this spots. We got this, and it's just looking at me like, so what's my purpose on this card?
Yeah.
And then most of these big guys are either brain dead or something like that, and people sit there and go, well, it's not fair that only y'all can do it. No, it's you got to know what works and what doesn't. And your area is a perfect area for like a wrestling crowd, because what I will know if I go wrestle in Georgia, arm drag is more popped like it's a choke slam. All old school moves. All old school moves. If you sell that thing like it's no other, people will pop for that like you just jumped out of the Raptors, because it's something that they can visualize and understand what is going on in the match. And we'll go back into that SummerSlam talk with Becky Lynch and Bianca. I really loved how that went, because
me too.
That match proved, other than it was the 5th time they've wrestled, that match proved that Bianca really was worth what they're trying to get her to be as that girl, as the top babyface, as the woman to represent the women's division in WWE. And I used to be against it. I used to call Bianca the one Ultimate Warrior, because I really thought she was a one-hit wonder, because yes, she is athletic. She can do all these moves, but she did not understand the psychology of the moves. And now that match, I watched it, other than the arm sell, whatever, she proved me wrong. She proved me wrong.
How do you feel about Bianca's character? Like, how do you feel about her actual, not her wrestling, like you just said? I see Bianca Belair, and I think she is an amazing athlete. She is incredible. She definitely has a story. She has a dynamic. But when it comes to her character, I don't know if I'm invested yet. And what I mean by character is, she got the long ponytail. She uses that really well. But as far as like who she is, I don't know if I really care. And I know this kind of sucks to say.
I think honestly, and I agree what you're saying, and I know what you're feeling on this, is because it's a typical, don't take it wrong way, it's a typical Black character. And a lot of people, and I think the reason why they stick with Bianca's character like that is because now I know you see the TikToks. I know you see these small, short videos of kids and older women, African women, crying because now they are seeing that differential diversity of champions. Like, you don't get to see that often. Like, no offense, as much as Jazz was a great freaking wrestler in the women's division, you didn't get to see her showcase like that. When Jazz won the title, she was a heel. Yeah, when Jacqueline won the title, a great mechanic, but was terrible on the mic.
Yeah,
terrible on the mic. It wasn't even a character. It was just a good wrestler. And Bianca was the whole opposite. She was very enthusiastic. She was a good character driven, but she wasn't that great of a wrestler. And now she is guiding all of those as one. Now, my thing is, and I love how you just approached that, is the long ponytail thing. I think it's way overdone. I think some of the things that she's doing now, I think they could revamp it. Like, you know how like Cena went from straight wigger to, all right, I'm a more showcase PG baby face.
But
with the TV-14 demographic now, maybe they can do a little bit more different with Bianca. But Bianca is so popular with the kids, they're not going to change that gimmick because you got little girls having big, long ponytails, twirling their hair, and with the sunglasses, doing the little hand gesture and all that. Like, that is what a wrestler is supposed to be personified. That is what you want as a wrestler, because you want that person to look at that person and go, you know what? That is my idol. Like you and me, we saw The Rock. Like, how many of us, I guarantee you, as goofy as those silk shirts were, it didn't look goofy on The Rock. Like, it would be only a shirt that
was
Rock
his character. But that's the thing. When you're talking about The
and when
Rock,
you were in those big old sunglasses, nobody wore those sweet, slick, dress-looking sunglasses. You wore the sporty sunglasses. But The Rock wore them. Oh, it's okay. It's cool. How many people ever moved an eyebrow before The Rock even did that stuff?
Yo,
like,
that's the
those are the
statement,
things that you stand out as a superstar. Not as a wrestler, but as a idol, as a role model.
And that's my point. That's my point to the fullest degree. And it's like, listen, and once again, I mean, I'm not trying to take no heat for this or whatever. I'm not saying nothing bad about Bianca, because Bianca,
this is a discussion.
Incredible.
It's not
exactly.
Bad.
Yeah.
She has came a long way.
Yes,
and I've said it numerous times. She has came a major, miraculous long way.
See, I didn't know her that well in NXT, so I can't even speak on her old.
That's
abilities.
The problem. She wasn't really known in NXT. Like, she just got shot up on the main roster. Like, I was shocked by it because there were some NXT shows that were in Jacksonville. They used to do them in the Armory, and they were really awesome shows. Like, you only paid $10, $20 at the ringside at the most. And you go to those things and you would just be entertained. It was a WWE platform, but it was in an independent background. And Bianca was not over. Like, Bianca could not get the crowd around her. They done whatever. She tried to do that personification as a babyface at first. They booed her out the building.
Bro,
they made her a heel.
Start off as a heel, man. I think you should start off as a heel.
And then literally, it's a hit or miss sometimes, because I think you want to test the boundaries. And like with me, I knew I couldn't be a good heel at first, just because of who I am, because of my personality. Like, I was just a very cool guy. Like, people talk about me like, man, Warren, that's a good-hearted dude, man. Like, that dude would literally give the shirt off his back for somebody. Like, this guy would never forget where he comes from, or something like that. So those crowds that I was around when I was wrestling, they already knew of me of playing basketball and not being a jerk. So how am I going to go somewhere and play something and make you think about it? Like my mom and all things. How would I have been able to make her boo me out the building? It would have been very impossible.
You gotta be that heel, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's sometimes hard. And sometimes it's literally, you have to have these crap gimmicks to become who you are. Great example. Rocky Maivia turned into The Rock. Stone Cold Steve Austin went from Stunning Steve to the Ringmaster. Yeah, the Ringmaster.
Steve,
How freaking terrible that gimmick was. Austin, but he was a great wrestler.
Steve Williams.
Turned into Austin 316, and it just elevated the whole game.
That was a whole different thing. And he basically did that. Well, him and I think what he said, not Bruce Pritchard. Who the fuck helped get Austin his name? I know he got his name from the $1 Million Man. That's where the Austin part came from, because he was known as Steve Williams, the Hollywood Blondes, like with Brian Pillman. Stone Cold came a long way, man. I didn't even know. I saw some crazy shit the other day where, remember, one of the most infamous moments in WWF was when Owen Hart and Stone Cold had that match, and Owen Hart did the Tombstone Pile Driver. And he sat there, and Austin
sat down pile driver, and hit his head.
Did you know that back in the day, I believe it was a Japanese or Asian wrestler that Steve Williams, Stone Cold Steve Austin, was wrestling, did the same exact thing. He did it to somebody else. I had never, I saw it on, I think I saw it on like TikTok. Somebody posted a video about it. I never knew that. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you know, and they say Austin doesn't talk about it, but that's incredible, man. That's really interesting that the same thing happened to him. But I mean, that's just like one of those things that you would never wish on anybody. But it just goes to show you just how fast your career can be shortened. Big E, bro, I want to keep going down the SummerSlam thing because I got a lot of shit I want to talk about. But that whole thing with Big E when you know, what the hell is his name? Ridge Holland. When he did that thing and you saw Big E's neck hit that floor the way it did, bro, that was one of the scariest things. And I think instant reality check. But when you're watching these guys, the respect that you should have, like they put their life on the line, literally, bro, to entertain, you know, people every day.
Think of a great example. I know we're off topic a little bit, but great example when I don't know if you watched that A&E show of Kurt Angle.
I haven't watched any of them yet. I actually really, really want to watch him.
Oh man.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Kurt
any
Angle
yet.
broke his neck 3 times in 1 year. 3 times in 1 year. This doctor got him back in 6 weeks, literally bouncing back in the ring after that 6 weeks. Not even 4 or 5 months in, and broke his neck again. Not even another 4 or 5 months, broke his neck again. Not even another 2 months and broke his neck again. Almost did not get his WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar because of his broken neck. And like I look at stuff like that, and I mean when I first had to leave wrestling, and I had so much emotions on it because my neck injury, my neck issue. But I looked at it as, you know, I had a mom that was 16 years old, had the exact same neck issues and had neck problems since she was 16. And I've been around it, having to take care of my mom with metal plates in her neck, stuff like that. And I remember when my dad told me, and I think I've said it before, is I'm going to end up like my mom. And at that time, I was just shaking my head like, nah, man, I'm bulletproof. I'm doing good. I'm selling I'm selling buildings out. I'm selling action figures now. You got kids wearing my mask. You got kids wearing these gloves. You got all these little things that I have done personally. Independent guy that literally no care of being in these big promotions at that time. Like I'm literally just becoming a big main draw in like Georgia, the small areas of Florida and stuff like that. And I felt like that was my rock moment. Like, and then when this happened, there was a lot of emotions on it because I was like, okay, I'm thinking, all right, so I can be out minimum 2 months, stuff like that. And it became more when I couldn't even do this. And it scared me because I had flashbacks of my mom. And that literally made me go that choice, you know, hey, I got to hang it up. Plus, I couldn't even hold my infant daughter. Like that part is what hurt me the most is I couldn't even be a dad. Like I could not even be able to hold my little baby girl, my wife.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy.
She had a rough pregnancy, and I'm like this. I'm like this. Like I can't move my neck for 4 days, and it's like, you know, I'll just wing it out, whatever. But with that 4th day happening, I'm just like, do I really want to do this again? Like, do I really want to put myself through this? Like, I love this. I've done hell of a great job on this, but do I want to keep doing this? And I'm looking at it as like, and then when I watched that A&E show of Kurt Angle where he was doing things with drugs and stuff like that, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, he looks so normal on TV. He looked absolutely normal as can be. You couldn't even thought about it on TV. And then the Benoit stuff and all that stuff. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad with my decision. Well, granted, now I'm about to be coming back one more, but health-wise, I'm completely good again. But at that time, you're just looking at it as like, you're thinking about what is other people thinking. Like Big E, great example. Big E did not even care about his health. He was more worried about people that were giving, just sitting there saying, thank you, Big E, Big E, Big E. And I mean, Big E just came off the biggest cuss of his career, being a WWE champion. Not even 2 months out, and then already broke his neck. And and luckily he hasn't had surgery yet, but it's not healing as fast as he thought it would be. But
I mean,
now,
I
luckily,
don't know how you thought that shit was gonna heal fast. I mean, that looked devastating.
I mean, the doctors, it's like a hit or miss because everyone's different. Like if Big E did not have as much muscle on his neck, he would have been completely gone. It would never have been a good ending for him ever again, period. But now it's a good thing for Big E because Big E's now getting a part of doing these recruiting and stuff like that. You're finding your place in wrestling, even if you don't have to find that bump standard. And I love how you said about Big E because we don't know if Big E's ever going to get to come back or not, but Big E's still a part of the business. And it's a hit or miss. And so when you watch these guys that sitting here doing the somersaults and stuff like that, and you're just sitting there looking at them like, it's fun now, but you're going to have to suffer that consequence eventually. Later on. If you keep doing what you're doing, we can't sit here and say, I told you so, but that's what it is. Like, it is a hard thing. And people don't realize wrestling is the hardest gig to get in because it's invested with sharks. I don't care if it's your best friend, your wife's, your best friend, whatever. They're ready for their shot. Like how we're looking at, oh, Finn Balor's getting underutilized. Oh, this person's getting underutilized. No, it's because somebody is showing something that they're not doing. Like, I get it. Sometimes I was very upset when they got rid of Keith Lee. I really thought Keith Lee could have been the next John Cena. Maybe a next Bobby Lashley. Maybe a Brock Lesnar. Maybe a Brock Lesnar because of the look.
I mean, Keith Lee was. I thought he was pretty good. I saw his matches.
His mic work, phenomenal.
I thought it was phenomenal in like his like how he would actually like wrestle and everything. I don't know, man. It's just there's a lot of standards, yo, and I think that's another thing that we're kind of that people. I think they get invested in somebody, and you know you want them to be the next big thing. But how many people can really be a John Cena, bro? Just really, how many people can be a Rock? How many people can be an Austin? Like, can you see somebody else being the Undertaker? Like, these are one.
Not with social media. Not with social media.
I mean, if you play it right, I think if you play it right, I think if you have, you want to know who I think could have dominated shit, and I don't even know his personal attitude. I don't know his personal problems. I think fucking Bray Wyatt. I think he could have been one of the game changers, yo. I think we could have seen a whole thing if they let Bray Wyatt creatively in the stuff that he was just doing, if it wasn't like, monetized the way I think it was, at least I hear that people say it was, if they let him run wild with that Fiend shit or just anything else that he would have kind of put together with it, I think that character would have been unbelievably phenomenal. I think if he would have kept transitioning from Bray Wyatt to the Fiend and brought the Fiend out, kind of like how Finn Balor does the Demon, I think that shit would have ran for years, yo. With different kinds of changes, just like The Undertaker. The Undertaker ran for years, but there was transitions in every form of The Undertaker. It was the adapted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. He didn't just not be The Undertaker. He was Undertaker the whole way out, but he was the American Badass. He was the Ministry of Darkness leader. He was, even when he came out, when Viscera crushed his face and shit.
Yep. I love how you said that, but did you see the styles change? Because when Taker was the Phenom, Taker was doing all the crazy, unbelievable big man jumps, all just larger than life matches. But when he became the American Badass, he became a grappler. He became literally a ground and pound brawler. He became kind of like a UFC guy. Like he wasn't doing all those flying, the flips and all that stuff. He was working smarter.
Yeah.
Because he knew his body was going wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So he adapted. He changed his character. He's changed that personification. Yeah. I mean, another great example, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho went from being Unreal. Y2J to literally cutting his hair and literally just being a mouthy chicken shit heel.
And that's just in the beginning. I mean, you got to remember the beginning of Chris Jericho. If you're talking like
exactly
him
like
in the Lion Tamer and the cruiserweight
that's another thing is,
you know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
When you have your characters, you need to change your movesets based off your character.
and your
and
music,
that's where a lot of people fail on.
Yeah. I believe that consistently, because one of the things, like, we're just, we're hey, Beeline, I'm sorry, we're never going to get through SummerSlam. So we only discussed Becky Lynch and Bianca so far.
I've already had my explanation on SummerSlam, like on other 2 podcasts. So
listen, I haven't. I'm trying to get mine. But listen, the thing that I noticed with Big E was, this is what I said about Big E. I love Big E, bro. I'm still a New Day fan. I don't think that the New Day should have ever been broken up.
No.
Unless they was going to have one of them turn on each other. That would have been the only way that I would have listen. This is my shit. This is why I said we're never going to get fucking through SummerSlam. This is what I think should have happened with New Day, yo. New Day, I think when they was giving Big E the push, I think that they should have had Big E come out there and do some Tommaso Ciampa, what's his name shit? The DIY when he turned on Johnny Gargano. When they should have had their match, and it should have been Big E's time. And Big E, the fun, crazy, blah, blah, blah guy, dancing and shit. I think they should have been celebrating, and Big E should have just beat the shit out of Zayn and Kof, bro. I think he should have, drastically. And then he should have came out on the stage the next night and been on so I did that shit. With a fucking suit on, serious as hell, with some glasses on. Yeah, I kicked their ass.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't give a fuck.
I like that.
What I'm saying?
I mean, but it's a change of a character. Bro, like, it's a different dynamic. Yes.
Bro, listen, yo.
I'm telling you, that's what wrestling has been failing on so much, is like
dynamic.
And I love using Chris Jericho as an example. Like, Chris Jericho talks about these on the podcast all the time. He's like, the old Y2J was in the flamboyant shirts, the flashy shirts.
Yeah.
They had the beard dangling down. But when he became to being that serious heel Chris Jericho, he became that arrogant son of a gun that was dressed in a suit.
I'm the king of the world.
He changed his character. Like, honestly, Jericho kind of worked like Ric Flair when he was in that suit look. And like Triple H changed his wrestling style completely when he would change his personas. Yeah. And that's one thing I tell people is like, and look at, I would love to use the example of heel Rock. Hollywood Rock is still my favorite heel that's ever been produced, because when he sat there and would do the clothesline and just point at his head and get you to have a freaking reaction, like, and then when he would sit here and do like this, when he would do the body slam, he would sit there and pat himself on the back and stuff like that, and the crowd would just boo him out the building. Like, those are the things I wish characters would come back to using, because I really wish Eddie didn't die at a young age, because honestly, I would have loved to see what Eddie would have done. Honestly, I think Eddie would have had something like what Ric Flair had. He would have had a very last match, a farewell to what he wanted to present to him. Because Eddie, I'm telling you right now, the babyface persona, where actually it was a neutral persona. It could have been a babyface or it could have been a heel.
He never was
where he hits the chair on the mat and just tosses to you and just points at you like this, and the ref just sits there and goes, You did this. No,
Eddie Guerrero was phenomenal, man. It's crazy because I was never a huge Eddie Guerrero fan as far as when he was wrestling Brock Lesnar and when he was wrestling JBL. I was the Radicals Eddie Guerrero. I was the Luchador Eddie Guerrero. I was never a fan of Rey Mysterio either. When they got into the heavyweight title picture and shit, not nothing to knock them, because they're amazing athletes, but I always liked them where they were, man. I liked when they used to, like, one of the greatest luchadors of all time, man. Their matches used to be epic, bro. Oh yeah, Rey Mysterio is, if not is, the greatest luchador of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But Eddie Guerrero, like, the matches that he had with almost everybody were just unbelievably phenomenal, bro. And then it was like, so much talent, so much energy. Every time he cut a promo, he didn't even have to say anything. His attitude, kind of like Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, his attitude spoke for him. It wasn't his script. He could have came out and said 5 words. You know what I'm saying? Scott Hall came out, hey, yo, slow talk, fucking,
and the crowd either boos them and still invested into it, because it's a feel.
Warren, you want to know one of Roman Reigns' greatest promos of all time was when he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
He said it's my yard.
And he stood in that ring. And of course, because it was Undertaker, everybody felt he retired. And everybody was mad. They were like, I know Roman didn't just retire the Undertaker. And everybody was still cramming Roman down our throats. He stood in that ring. They told him, "Go fuck you, Roman. You suck.
In Orlando. Yep.
Die, Roman, die." All that shit, whatever he was saying. Roman sat there. He looked around. He didn't say shit. You can't tell me it was scripted. I don't know if it was scripted or not. He didn't say shit. He stood there. He looked around. He wasn't a heel. He wasn't a baby face. He was fucking Roman. And he sat there and he let them he put the mic up. Yeah, he don't say shit. He still got more to say. All right, he let them do that shit a good 7 times.
That's how you know you can control a crowd.
Electric.
And that's one thing.
Bro.
That's one thing so many people fell on is let the thing come to you.
Yeah.
Don't beg for it.
Yeah,
let it come to you. Like that investment. Like we sit here, and I've even said it numerous times. I don't know what was the purpose of Roman beating Undertaker. That moment right there, that's what we got the tribal chief.
Yo,
honestly, that's how the tribal chief was born long before. But Roman tried to do it the fan way. Like Roman tried to do it the way that he thought the fans would want him to be. Roman's been the biggest heel for the longest time. It's just now you are getting the acknowledgement that Roman's the heel now.
And look, and now everybody cheering Roman, bro. Listen, I fucking love I think the Bloodline. Listen, they are one of the greatest fucking unions.
How more irrelevant has the Usos been since they've joined the Bloodline?
But definitely.
But I'm just saying, like, as a big top tier platform now, the Usos have became. Honestly, I would say the Bloodline's almost one of the top factions that's been in.
That's
WWE
what I was just about to say. I'm saying, since
they're damn near close. I think they're almost beating Evolution right now.
Evolution. Yeah, Evolution was never really my favorite. One of my favorite ones, but I would say since the Shield, not in the same way because the Shield worked better as a unit. I think Roman they work better as these is my henchmen. And
as a mafia, it's literally he doesn't
style.
come in. He doesn't come in until the scrapes are almost picked.
Nope.
Up, and then he finishes it.
That's how
a heel. That is how
Fire,
that heel is
bro.
personified. And I had this chat with shout out to the podcast, Third Generation Wrestling Podcast, is because they were upset about that too. They said, that match with him and Brock, he should have told them, hey, I got this. I want to do this one on my own and stuff like that. But I also told them, said, no, why would he have a faction unless if there's a story about them being split pretty soon, which we know for a fact. The Bloodline ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
They need to leave that alone. Yeah, that's
the Bloodline ain't going anywhere soon until probably Hollywood WrestleMania, and we know what the headline is, and I will be in California if that shit happens.
I'll be pissed. You want to know something? I was having this conversation too, and we're gonna talk about the Brock match too. That shit was phenomenal. But you want to know something? I really, really, really hope that they do not stretch him having the title all the way to the Hollywood WrestleMania. Yeah, because I was going to say, if they do the Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania.
Don't be a title match. Don't be a title match.
But it not only do not be a title match, but there's no need for it. It literally holds enough weight in just.
It could still be the main event without even having a title.
Without a
title.
Cena
and Rock. Just like Cena and Rock at WrestleMania 28.
Even more though.
And I tell people, as good as that match was, you got to think about the matches that were on that card that they had to one up. Punk and Jericho, probably the best match of the night, which I'm a hating of CM Punk. I hate CM Punk. People know this. I have a personal feeling about CM Punk. It's a hit or miss, but they had a great match. Triple H and freaking Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. That was one of my favorite matches just because I have been around those two eras for so long.
Yeah.
Like, I was never a CM Punk fan. I never cared about this dude.
Yeah.
Like, I always sat there and said, you are feeding this small freaking dude to me. And I'll say he's small because he's not that much bigger than me. And the vegan boy and all that, hey, I would always love for that match. But other than that, literally, these matches had to compete with the main event. And Rock and Cena. That match was built off of social media. It wasn't built off of what was going on Raw or SmackDown. It was built off of Twitter. It was built off of Instagram. Hell, when Tout was popular, it was built on Tout. Like those, they found a way to present this show and present them all relevant all the way to WrestleMania. That was a year in advance. That is unheard of.
That shit. Ain't nobody trying to sit around for a year waiting for a match, yo. That's why.
But what I'm saying is, fans were so invested into it. Like people were behind. Oh, Cena said this. Oh, Rock said this.
Yeah,
Rock
I get it.
Rock got Cena to come back out as the Doctor of Thugonomics. Like it was a whole milestone character-driven way. Rock came back as Rocky Maivia for a second, if everybody don't remember, when he went to Philly, and I mean where was it? Boston. Cena's Boston area, and Boston kind of ate Rock alive when Cena called him out on writing the promo on his wrist. Like it was personal issues that made that story so compelling to WrestleMania.
I know one thing about John Cena, man. John Cena, the credit that he gets, of course, he definitely gets credit. But John Cena might be
worst errors in wrestling, but he made it relevant.
He also might be one of the greatest people on the mic
I hate to say
ever. I hate
to say it.
Like phenomenal.
Cena is the best. He had the best wrestling career of any superstar.
Yeah, he might be the greatest of all time. There's no doubt in saying that John Cena. You can talk about the Hogan.
I love Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair, but Cena is the greatest WWE champion of all time.
Yeah, I don't even think. I'll be honest with you. Ric Flair wouldn't even be in the category to me, yo. I know he won the belt a million times. I know it's Ric Flair. But I'm just being honest with you. As a wrestler, who's wrestled all over the world and shit like that or whatever, I definitely understand you. But let's be honest here. Hulk Hogan was more popular than fucking Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair might have been more popular in the wrestling world, but as far as knowing the name, you could say Ric Flair to somebody and not know who the fuck he is. If you say Hulk Hogan, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. And to me, that counts. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say John Cena, WWF, WWE. Immediately, you can say Roman Reigns, and people can be like, "Who the fuck is that?" I'm just being
not anymore. Not anymore.
Well, it's getting better. It's getting better, but you
not
cannot
anymore.
Tell me. You cannot tell me that a lot.
When he first came out, yeah, absolutely.
Warren, honestly, bro, I even feel like now, and I'm not this. Like I said, I fucking love Roman and them, bro. But I'm just saying, I don't know if they get this. Maybe because wrestling isn't like how it used to be. Wrestling used to be. People still love it. But wrestling, you still can talk in a room full of people and say, I watch wrestling, and people look at you like, you still watch that? Listen, it happens all the fucking time. I know, because it happens to me all the time. But back in the day, you would watch wrestling and people would be like, oh yeah, I saw Raw, I saw this, I saw that. They couldn't wait to talk about it. But the investment that people used to have in wrestling isn't as strong as it used to be, bro. Wrestling used to dominate Hollywood.
It's coming back.
That's why I'm excited about the
honestly, show. I would tell you, like, think of it this way. What type of podcasts are actually really popular right now? Wrestling podcasts have really stand out of most categories in podcasting right now.
So you got
which
Pat
I tried
McAfee.
to follow. I tried to fall off of it for a while, and I was like, I'm not trying to be that wrestling podcast, but I can't walk away for what people know me for is wrestling.
Yeah, and you for sure. I mean, you got a whole persona as a wrestler. I mean, I could definitely understand that. But
literally, like my podcast is not about anything. It's literally about having a conversation with anyone. You could be an author, a book illustrator, whatever. And I even test them. I said, when I talk about wrestling, first person they come up was talk about The Rock. Second person they talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Third person they talk about is Triple H. And then it kind of gets dried out a little bit at the end. They only know about Benoit because of what Benoit did. They know about Kurt Angle because of what he did in the Olympics. They know about Batista because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
These are the things that make wrestling grow.
Yeah.
Because think of it like this. If Goldberg, great example, Goldberg didn't play in Longest Yard, how many people wouldn't know about Longest Yard? How many people would not have known about the Universal Soldier and stuff like that? Goldberg's been in a lot of movies, if everybody forgot.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies.
They may not be
and
they
shows
might not be
too.
box office films, but
Yeah,
he's been in a lot of movies. Like, I mean, Hogan got his noticing in wrestling from doing movies, from doing commercials, from being on toys to being on stuff. That is how you network it out.
Yo, listen,
I mean, how many people took vitamins because of Hogan?
Listen, Hulk Hogan, I think it's the reverse. I honestly think Hulk Hogan got established.
He made it cool to be a wrestling fan. He made it cool to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, because he definitely Hulk Hogan's. I mean, I would love to like watch like the documentary on like his life and how he transitioned. But I remember literally Hulk Hogan was known as Hulk Hogan, and that was where his like development went into movies and stuff, like just like The Rock was known as The Rock when he was in Hollywood. Hollywood didn't make The Rock. They were still calling him The Rock because that was what he was known for from wrestling.
They tried to control him and it failed.
They never would have. I don't think that they would have even. Now that you see the kind of caliber that The Rock is, man, like I don't think anybody could have controlled that fucking machine, bro. He's a different type of animal, man. Higher than Cena, Hogan, every fucking body. If you talk about
not that far behind him now.
Nah,
Cena's getting major movies now.
He is, but I don't think Cena could ever be the same caliber as The Rock.
No, he won't be the same.
Like not even fucking close.
Like literally when I watched that WrestleMania match, and I just watched it recently, I looked at it, I watched the promos because that's what really makes me invest into a story. Is the promos. That is what I tell people all the time. Like everybody's so mad about WWE because first thing they do when they come out with a 3-hour show, what do they start with? Do they start with a wrestling match or they start with a promo? And then was that promo transpire to the main event? Or something that's going to extend it out to the show to keep going. I look at it as, Cena had a major rough drought when it came to movies at first. I mean, the Marine, it was a hit or miss.
It was WWE shit.
It
wasn't even
it
like
was
a real...
good to watch at first, but you weren't going to watch the Marine 5 to 6 to maybe 7 or 8 times. 12 rounds. I like 12 rounds, but am I going to watch 12 rounds more than I would watch Die Hard, which that really was a knockoff off of, was Die Hard. So, like, Cena had his rough patches in movies. And now, I mean, I really wish that those two could have done one more match because it's 1-on-1. And I would have loved to seen The Rock actually shot a promo on Cena talking about him being in the Fast and the Furious group. That would have been just freaking funny as hell to me. Because, with him and Vin, that would have been all bets are off. Let's get it personal, right? Those are the things that make somebody love something. And it's not even just based off of guys with body oil or water or in tights or costumes, whatever. It's because you can escape something that's going on in your life, regardless what time it is. And this is what I try to tell people, like how you just said, people are like, you still watch that? I tell them, I literally look at them and go, do you watch Avengers? Yeah. That's fake. But it's entertaining. What's not entertaining about wrestling?
And that's kind of like where that's the old age, like, conversation. I personally think that, it's been a lot of times where it's like people, like a lot of people that I know, like even my brother, we grew up wrestling fans. Like I said, I was Hulk Hogan, I was Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, all of that shit. And I got transitioned into DX and everybody that was, Stone Cold and all them. But when it started to kind of come in, man, and around the late 2000s, and it was kind of just like, it was just dwindling down, man. And it got real boring. The PG era, the Ruthless Aggression era was okay. Rey Mysterio kept winning the fucking heavyweights. I remember one match. I'm telling you right now, I turned wrestling off. Because I see fucking Rey Mysterio was fighting the Big Show and the Great I was get the fuck out of here. Don't play with me. Okay, now somebody came to me with a fake conversation.
I see the reason why they did the first win, and I loved it because it was for Eddie. But yes, man, like how you just said, but wrestling, and that's what really kind of made the different drop to wrestling too, because in a way that's perfect for guys like me at first. That are only 185 pounds, because guess what? Now we have a chance to actually be a heavyweight champion. because now that's in the body demographic because Rey Mysterio was only weighing 150 pounds, 160.
Then he won the Royal Rumble with everybody. I'm like, listen, bro, I'm sorry, and I'm not a hater.
He won the
Rey
Royal
Mysterio,
Rumble because
bro.
of Eddie. That was the only way. That was the only reason.
They need to stop doing shit like that, unfortunately, because it makes it unbelievable, bro. Because
I mean,
as a
think
fan,
of it this way.
Fucking
Eddie,
invested.
I mean, think of it this way. But that match that Ray wrestled, he wrestled against Kurt Angle and Randy Orton. They tore it down. Like, you can't tell me you weren't entertained by this match. You can't tell me you did not care about Ray in that match because Ray was a legit underdog in the match. Like, Ray lost his shot at that main event before because Randy Orton did mind control and said, hey, if I beat you, I can get your number one contender shot. And guess what? He egged it on and pissed this guy off and did exactly to piss Ray off. Went verbally talked about Eddie. Talk about Eddie's not in heaven. Eddie's in hell. Like, that is some hard stuff there.
They don't hold shit back.
Honestly, you got to think of it this way. Would Eddie have been upset about it? No. Eddie would have wanted to get involved in the story because Eddie would have been glad just to know he's involved in the storyline.
Yeah.
Like, those are the things that people don't realize. It's going to give you an emotion, regardless if it's stupid or what. You're going to feel an emotion. If you go to a wrestling event, you are not going to tell me you're bored to death. Because if
wrestling is shit.
You're going to invest into a personality, like literally like a baby face. You literally are going to just be like, is he really ever going to get back up to fight back? Like, can he get back up? Like, that's how you get invested into a good guy. Like, those are the things that they fail at so much. And shout out to my boy Alex Kane because he talked about it perfect. The perfect heel is not to come out there and start mouthing off the crowd. The perfect heel shows it in the ring. You walk out there, people are kind of like a little bit wondering, are you a good guy or are you a bad guy? Especially the way the world is now. You know how everybody's like, oh, he's a heel, he's a face. You walk out there, go straight to the ring. You look around. Don't say nothing. If they cheer, they cheer for you. But when that bell rings, you're a different animal. You just turn into one of those crazy son of a guns. You just turn into one of those guys that just said, I'm not even going to look at you at a bar. And then that's where you tell the audience that, he's a bad guy. Like, those would be more compelling than just I'm in Houston. Y'all suck. You stink. Y'all smell like a bunch of socks. Like,
that's definitely
those
boring.
Stuff has gotten so
that telegraph. Yeah, that telegraph shit. I mean,
that's what's killed the business. That's what's killed this business for so long.
That's what they're saying. Like, literally, that everybody's saying it now. You see Michael Cole saying it. That's what Vince McMahon had the shit so scripted that you literally couldn't say this, you couldn't say that, and these motherfuckers were walking around puppets, and that's why they couldn't really dive into their characters. That's why you couldn't really relate to people. I mean, you're seeing it now. We literally just got to change, and we've watched SummerSlam and we watched Raw. That was on Monday.
I gotta say this real quick though. I do appreciate everything that Vince has done because if Vince didn't do this, there would not be pro wrestling. I would not have been able to get the chance to wear red, white, and blue tights and a mask and call myself a wrestler. People have got to realize this man broadcast pro wrestling into a phenomenon for over 40 years. Nobody topped him. Nobody beat this man in ratings. Like, WrestleMania's ratings get almost as much, or maybe even more than Super Bowl ratings sometimes.
He made it. He made wrestling, bro. Like, don't even get it twisted.
Celebrities, if they hear pro wrestling, they're thinking WWE. You're not thinking AEW. You're not thinking New Japan. You're not thinking about these. You're thinking as WWE because WWE has been on your TV consistently from the age that since I was born to now. This is a crazy subject. Vince McMahon has retired. Completely unreal, man. Done. He's not in creative. He's done.
He still has hands in the shares and shit, man. I mean, I don't know, man. If you know Vince McMahon, Vince McMahon too, you know that he's. I mean, if you, like you said, we've been watching this guy for years. We've been hearing stories, and if you're somebody who listens to the stories, you listen to the information, you got to understand this is a guy who doesn't lay on his back, bro. Like he's older now, of course, but I still think that Vince McMahon, he's going to have something. He's going to have something, man, that's going down in this thing. I heard that he still has like hands.
I hate the fact that this happened this way because I really was looking forward to that documentary that was going to be on Netflix.
Yeah, so do I. So was I, man.
What those people were going to say about Vince, what
Yeah.
headlines they were going to talk about Vince. Like Vince has been there for over 3 generations in wrestling, guys.
They'll
Like,
still have
Vince
somebody.
changed. Vince made something that was only territory. Like WWE was only supposed to be broadcast in Madison Square Garden. It was only supposed to be in in New York. New York was WWE's area. Vince bought out all these areas, gambled on this. Might I said he went flat out broke to make wrestling to what it is now.
Yeah.
And Triple H said it on a podcast recently. He said, if they never built this performance center, they were going to be screwed in the next 40 years. And it's been true. It's been facts. Like the performance center now has gotten your different styles and stuff like that. And I think now the fans, they get more behind the NXT roster. That's why everybody's been having so much personal feelings about the newer NXT as compared to the black and gold brand, which I feel like that's about to change too. But those are, we want change, but we're complaining about the change as well.
Yeah, people need to
we don't give it
let
time.
Shit happen a little bit. Yeah, because it's definitely, if you don't notice anything at this point, especially at this point, like it's definitely evident that
after that SummerSlam, you can't second guess of what's going on now.
Yeah. That Roman, let's talk about a couple more. We ain't gonna go too long. I knew we weren't gonna. I thought we were gonna get through like a SummerSlam, but we haven't talked about it. It's so much happening, bro. And I know me and you talk about this stuff and like even just the ideas. Let's touch on a couple different topics. I had a top 5. Hey, B-Line, we just gonna let this be what it is. This episode, we just talking. If you enjoy wrestling, definitely hope you're enjoying the conversation. 2 guys who are in love with the sport.
Stay in tune with me, man, because I'm about to do one more last dance, man. So it's
exactly. Yeah. Warren's going back to the ring, man. To jump on, throwing the mask back on. How you feel, man? How you feel about it?
I feel very good now. I was nervous for a while, and the guy that got me back into this damn thing, I was hesitant at first. I went to the doctors, making sure I was good. I remember last time I was on here, I've been cleared completely. I've been back and forth in the ring for over about a month now. It's just different because I used to be training to be in shows every weekend. Now I'm only preparing for one last dance.
Listen, so, like Ric Flair, you Ric Flair now.
I'll be doing a lot better than that Ric Flair.
Listen, fuck yo. Hey, listen, Warren trying to knock my boy Ric Flair. Listen,
I'm not knocking Ric Flair, bro. And this is another reason why I gave up American Prodigy at the time I did, because I did come back one time to do the favor for my best friend that was winning a big prestige title. And he called me and told me, hey, there's this tournament and the booker really wants you in it. Like, you are one of the reasons why a junior heavyweight is in the picture. And I didn't care how my health was or whatever. And I was like, hey, I won't bump a lot, but I'm going to do whatever I need to do to return the favors to him, because I owe a lot to Logan. Shout out to my boy Logan Stevens. Like, Logan did so much wonders for me. He taught me there were so much different styles in wrestling. Taught me so much more than what I was trained at my other area. Like, I was only trained one style. And I can relate to a lot of when everybody wants to talk about WWE. WWE is one style. Mm-hmm. But when I got to try those newer styles, that's what really made me a better wrestler and a more creative. And it also gave me a lot of troubles in the way too. But I did this match and it was not good because I was so nervous about taking a bump. We hesitated on a suplex because I was terrified on the flip, whatever. So this was my last match. And I've been talking about it for a while. And I was just like, I don't want that to be it. And and my health has been fine. My neck has been great. I've strengthened my neck. Like, people don't realize I put on about 15 pounds since that last episode. And it's straight muscle. Like, I've done so much different things to get prepared for this. I used to eat 4,000 calories a day. I've narrowed it down to only 2,500, maybe even 2,200 if I'm lucky. Like, I have been so consistent in getting prepared for this match. Like, I am ecstatic now. I'm looking forward to it. I'm more excited. I'm feeling like myself again. When I say I'm feeling like myself, I feel like I'm not going to hesitate on a move. I feel like I'm going to be able to do it proper, to do it the right way and not hurt myself. Like, that was the things I was starting to have problems with when I was almost in and out of this business, because I was starting to hesitate on bumps. Like, remember when I told you on that ladder match, where I was on top of that ladder, I was like, what the fuck am I doing up here? Like, that's when you know you are starting to fall out of what you love. And it was hard for me. And then when I got on these podcasts, I tried to stay away from wrestling. I didn't want to be known as that wrestling guy.
Talking about
people
it,
found about it. People found about it, and they got me to talk about it. Shout out to my boy Shiz. He got on there because he knew of my personal background from the wrestling thing, hit me up and wanted to talk about it. And I got more into it. And it's kind of like the podcast bug. You start talking about it and you start believing it again. You're like, you know what? I'm sitting here watching a 74-year-old man sell out a building that's over 4 or 5, about 15,000 people, selling out an old school arena for a legend to do one more match that's 74 years old. I saw Edge come back from a neck injury for over, 10 years when he retired? Daniel Bryant retired for almost 8 years or something like that, coming back. I mean, Paige is in the process of coming back from the neck
I really
injury.
hope Paige
comes
back, man.
I researched it, and I was like, I'm not going to go consistently. I knew that for a fact. I was like, they doing it on a bigger platform. No knock on anybody, and everybody knows that I mean this very well. But on an independent background, it's not enough. It's just not enough for me, because it's like I can't do a full-on title run and go for a title in the independent promotion. It's just not that same feel anymore. I'm 31 years old now. I've got a father. I'm a father of 2 kids now. I've got a wife that literally I can't just sit there and leave every week to go to these shows every weekend, knowing that I work on weekends. So now I've got to find a way to work on an independent promotion on a weekday, and that's very hard to find in the areas that I live in. So I would have to majorly travel just to get that back. So I had to really figure it out. Like, you know what? I want to do one more. I hated the fact of how I left it. The guy that I had my last match with has been really preparing me to get ready for this one. So I'm literally more content and more focused than I've ever been. And I hate the dude because he brought me back, but shout out to El Nino. Like, El Nino told a major story on our podcast and made people hate him. And it made it even more of an investment for this match. Like, we're building this off of an episode on my podcast. We've never met each other in person. And and the craziest thing is, there was a WrestleCon in Jacksonville. Like, he was that's what he wanted to really broadcast on that episode too, was that he was about to wrestle a guy from Control Your Narrative. And that's a bigger promotion with EC3, Braun Strowman, and all them guys now. And he wanted to promote that in the process of obviously doing that, saying, hey, I'm wrestling in the big time. You thought you were a big time guy, and you ain't shit type scenario. You know what I mean? Like, he was trying to like kind of protest it as your legacy just doesn't mean anything. So when we did this, people thought we were headlining the WrestleCon match. Over 100 people went to his table saying, Prodigy is about to whoop your ass. People hesitate, and he was sending me the videos. I'll have to show you the clips. Like, people are looking at it, I was like, I'm looking forward to this match. I'm so excited to see this match between you two. He's going to beat the living dog piss out of you. Like, people were just ranking on El Nino. And El Nino has been wrestling consistently. He's a champion on a promotion, and people are talking about a retired wrestler coming back to whoop his tail. That I was not a big-time wrestler, but I'm coming back to whoop his tail. That tells you an investment of, if you present yourself properly, people are going to follow it. People are going to,
for sure,
and people are going to literally want to find out when this match is, when this is going to happen, when's that going to be, what are you doing to transpire this thing? Like, people have been telling me I need to create a vlog about me coming back in the ring, which I might air my in-ring thing probably this Thursday when I go to a wrestling show. So it's just I'm back and forth on it just because I'm like, I don't know if I should wear the mask or what. But obviously with me on these podcasts now, it doesn't really freaking matter. After I broke the Fifth Amendment on a masked wrestler. So
we're going to check it out.
It's just a beautiful thing, man. It's really cool just to see how something I was so scared of doing. Now I'm just like so dead set. I want to just do it just because I tell people all the time, I've been doing stuff for everyone else for so long. I think it's proper for me to have my last one for me. This one's more for me than anything.
And that's always a good thing for sure. So when you do that match, we definitely going to check it out. Beeline, you've seen Warren come on and talk a lot about, his past.
we go on like 90 different subjects.
Hey, listen, yeah, exactly. But you want to know something? It is fun. And now that we're going to be able to see, I never really posted any clips of you like in the ring or anything like that or whatever. So, it's going to be nice once you have this match. We can see where it is and we can get the information and everything like that or whatever. So we can show that because I do want to do more of these wrestling things. I got just a heads up, Beeline, but I got a girl. She's pretty popular on TikTok and she's coming on. She's got a unbelievable wrestling, toys, a figures collection. And she goes in there and she kind of has her own page that she does and she shows off her collection. Huge fan. I'm gonna have her come on. We're gonna talk about different things in the industry as well. I want to do more, bro. I love this. I've always been a fan of wrestling, like I've said 50 times in the show and shit already. But I've always been a fan, and I definitely want to do more because I hope that it's going to a different place where it was where I definitely fell in love with it. But until then,
change is coming, man. Change is coming.
Bro. It's always good to have you on. We definitely want to do a damn Summerslam thing, but I know that shit wasn't gonna happen. So, but we did talk about a lot of good, like the positive stuff that's coming back with wrestling, bro. Triple H, like you said, man, never no hate towards Vince, man. Vince, he gave me years of my life of entertainment and just unbelievable entertainment, bro. Him and Stone.
We went from fresh baby faces to literally facial hair.
I'm telling you,
gray
bro, hair to our kids watching it. My kids own freaking wrestlers right now. I mean, I have a collection of my movie collection right there. I have a collection of Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker, every Bret Hart from all different generations, man, all different eras. And it's been nothing but entertainment. So for this podcast right here, we want to say thank you, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, for the entertainment, for the Kiss My Ass Club, for the balls as big as grapefruits. Oh
my gosh, I forgot about those.
Kiss My Ass. Remember this grown man had people kissing his ass as the owner of the company, and we watched that shit with smiles on our faces every damn day. Warren Marlowe back in the check out the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. He's gonna be back in the ring, the American Prodigy. We're gonna definitely post it. We're gonna definitely keep y'all entertained, and we're gonna definitely keep talking about wrestling. If you're a fan, come on, hit me up. I want to talk to you. SummerSlam was fucking amazing. We didn't even finish the Brock Lesnar Roman match, which I'm telling you right now. Listen, Warren, on our way out, the best last man standing match I've ever seen of all time. I'll say it. Fuck it. If you got a better one, tell me. But not even talking about the tractor shit. I'm talking about.
Still got the 5. Still got 5 to talk about.
I'm not even doing it. Yeah, I'm not even doing it, bro.
Not even doing it?
Okay. It was almost 2 hours. I'm not even gonna fuck. I knew we were gonna talk, but we kind of it was a lot to talk about. But the match itself, when they were just powwowing back and forth, when they were throwing each other through the tables, when Brock picked up the piece of the table and smashed.
I love how you just picked that up, man, because that is not seen. And I tell people, people don't realize how good of a storyteller Brock is. Like,
it was phenomenal.
That's one thing I talked about. That was the one thing that caught my attention. Everybody was so blown about the tractor and stuff.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Yes, but where Brock picked that little piece of the table and broke it. And it didn't just flat out whatever.
Yeah.
Broke it. And Roman went straight through it like it was like a regular table. That was the part that really changed. I was like, I've never seen that before.
That shows you that was complete. It wasn't practice. It wasn't rehearsed. They were like, all right, let's see. What can I do? Just gonna fuck somebody up.
We're just gonna break shit and we're gonna just go.
But
shit
they
crazy.
wrecked it though. When even the end, when Roman, Usos, and Austin Theory, they were all out there trying to get Brock. Trying to hit him, Brock wasn't standing down. The perfect beast, because everybody, listen, this is me. Fuck, man, I'm trying to end the show. This was me, right? When I told IT Tiff, I'm sitting on a chair. I'm like, listen, baby, this is what they're going to do. I already know. I've watched wrestling long enough. They're going to have Brock Lesnar and Roman. They're going to fight around the whole arena. And they're going to do something. And they're going to have Brock be pinned down by something. I even told her, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they went outside and they're close to a lake or a river. And they throw Brock's ass in there. And they can't get up for it's got to be something impossible to make him get up for that 10 count. Because they ain't going to just have Brock lay down on the mat.
Yeah.
So then as soon as Brock came out, and he sat there, started walking, and he turned around, he got that tractor. I said, see, I told you. But there's the fact that they didn't do that speaks volumes on the direction, I think. I was like, see, it almost is like, not even saying like, not to be on some selfish shit or personal shit or whatever, but it's almost like they were like, see, I knew y'all thought we was going to do that shit. I knew y'all thought we was going to trap.
That's where they changed it.
Shit. But
that's where they were like,
no.
oh, that's where you get more invested into it, because now you couldn't predict that.
Hell no.
When you looked at that tractor and him lifting up the ring,
you were like,
that was something you wouldn't have thought of. Exactly. Nothing. Nobody would have thought of him lifting that tractor under that ring. You were thinking, okay, he's going to put Roman in the tractor, and maybe Roman's going to use that tractor to weigh Lesnar down. No, it changed it up. So when all that stuff happened, and especially the cash in with Theory, like you're thinking, oh, Theory's about to come and sneak this title.
I knew Theory had that belt, bro.
Changed the game.
Yep.
I mean, I'm a big fan of my boy Theory, but that way that they did it, and of course, nobody even noticed until the end. They're like, oh, they didn't ring the bell. So Theory didn't even cash his money in the bank in.
Yeah.
So that even made you more invested. You're like, oh my gosh, like what is going on here? That is what I felt so much more better. And that's why this last man standing match is going to be talked about for ages.
Bro,
is because you could not predict what just happened that match.
Yeah. I can't wait.
And with him, F5 and Paul Heyman on that table.
Oh yeah.
That was the only thing I could predict. I didn't think the table. I thought it was probably like a clothesline or something, because we know Paul ain't taking heavy.
Even Ronda attacking the ref. You know what I mean? Like it was just so much like callbacks to how I remember being invested in wrestling, bro. I remember like that was the shit, the outlaw shit. Like, they had all the rules. I'm not watching wrestling for rules. I'm watching for people who break the rules. I want to see you get mad. Remember Ken Shamrock used to throw the refs and put the ankle lock on everybody in the fucking ring and snap out. That was the greatest shit you could watch. Like there was nothing better than seeing them go crazy and lose it and do crazy shit. I'm not watching wrestling to be realistic. I'm watching wrestling to watch people entertain, stories to be told. I want to see you kicking in somebody's door and taking their kids out the house and fighting for them on a pole. I want to see all that shit. I don't care, bro. You can flippity do that, whatever. But fuck it, you better have a story. Like I just said with Big E, man, they should have Big E brutalize the New Day. If you're gonna do it, bro. Brutalize the New Day and then come back out the next day on Raw, and he's standing like Roman. He's standing ring getting the craziest old people booing the shit out of him, but he just looks around. So yeah, I did that shit. I don't care. That's better than I don't care about.
I don't know. With Triple H booking the show now, I think something might happen. If Big E does come back, I think it's going to be a change.
Fuck everybody up. Listen, everybody you like, make them. You know who pissed me off when we was talking about the Ronda thing? I'm never going to close the show. They play and Liv Morgan, bro. They play and Liv Morgan. Listen, first of all, I just got to be real. I respect
Ronda
Liv.
Shouldn't have planned that match. She shouldn't have planned the match.
I think that they're trying stuff, and they gave her the opportunity. I mean, that's one of the things about the Money in the Bank thing. You can do that, but if you're gonna do it, like, why don't you go all the way with it? Like, give Morgan you're gonna make her a champion, but then you're gonna make her chump champion. Like, I just happened to win my belt back. Fuck that, man. I'm bored with that already, yo. Like, if you're going to give her the belt, don't play it like she's not a champion.
They were trying to treat Ronda like she was a Brock Lesnar. And Ronda did not give Liv anything.
No, not at all.
That's one thing I was sitting there, I was like, Ronda came up with that match. Because the psychology into that, first of all, where Ronda snapped Liv's arm. That, I mean, I get the heel turn, which was great. But in a way, with Ronda dominating that match, it really killed the credibility for Liv. Because Liv did not have any offense in that match.
Nah,
the only thing she had is when she did the thing in the ropes, and I think she got a clothesline it, and that was really it. And then they did the roll up.
That shit was horrible.
I really hope now that Triple H has got the full on look on it, he knows how to make Ronda look strong, but also make the other opponent look strong too. That's one thing that Triple H was so freaking good of. Like, Triple H made it to where you gave a damn about that babyface. Regardless who it was, Triple H made you give a damn about the babyface.
Yeah.
And that's one thing heels don't realize either, is you don't have to do everything in a match. You literally could do the simplest thing, just punching the guy, and the fans could hate you easily. People just don't realize that. There's the saying that I still live to completely, even on podcasts, less is more.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the conversation that's being had now with wrestling. Like, you know, and just to throw it back, I remember hearing conversations with people saying that's what Vince was saying. Vince was saying, I remember they were judging him, and I think it was like a YouTube show or something like that goes over wrestling, and they were saying, Vince was saying that there's too much wrestling in our shows, and people like to act like they're bewildered, like, how did he say, like, or like he's the stupidest person in the planet for saying something like that, but it's a wrestling show. Like, bro, but do you understand what he's saying? He's trying to tell you there's too much of this one thing that it's categorized as. So why don't we try to invest in more things to make it more entertaining? And I understood him completely. Let's incorporate more story. Let's incorporate somebody not just having to be the most amazing wrestling match on the planet. I'll watch a match like you just said. I'll watch two people that I've been watching feud with an amazing storyline that I can't wait to see this guy get his head ripped off. And they are in the ring, they're just throwing each other, doing the people's elbow all fucking 14 times over. I'm excited because I've invested in the story. I didn't invest to watch the moves, bro. And I think that's where people need to find out, like, what are you watching for? Are you watching it because you just want to see good wrestling? Or
you remember when I made that post? You remember when I made that post on Facebook, and did you see the negative remarks I got when I said, what was your purpose of watching wrestling? Do you remember that? Where it was over 115 comments, and it wasn't even in 2 hours. Yeah. And people were sitting here just listing down their reasons of wrestling. And then when I would sit there and say, okay, so why do you watch that? Is there a character in that? And they're like, what character? He was the submission, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, exactly. You don't know what wrestling is. Yeah. And then that got even more upset. And then they looked at it this way and just went back and forth. And it was just like I was never going to be able to win battle, but I literally put every single one of them in their place, telling them this is presented to you. If Vince would have presented WWE as just a wrestling show, you would have not saw it on USA. You would not have saw it on Fox Network. Yeah. You would not have saw it on Spike TV. You would not have saw it on this, because guess what?
Nobody cares about that shit. That's
nobody
not the reason.
cares about
I'll be honest with
fake
you.
Fighting.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. People want to watch the show for the entertainment. That's the whole reason I'm a fan. That's the whole reason I've been a fan my whole life.
People watch Jerry Springer. Yeah, it was confrontational. Yeah, you didn't care to watch it
people
because
enjoy
of
that
talk on there talking about cheating on stuff. No, you don't want to hear all that mess. You want to see retaliation. You want to see something that, if you could sit there and what's your mind, say like your good side and your bad side. And obviously your reaction side is like what you're watching with WWE. They're reacting to stuff that you wish you could do in life.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Those are the things that really made that special. I'm sorry we went a little bit long, but guys,
nah, you good,
bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Brian, this has been awesome, blessed, man. If y'all want to, check on my podcast, Buzzing with Marlowe. We are coming back in 2 weeks, guys.
There you
2 weeks. Season 4 is live and rolling. I'm going to have Mr. B himself back on here for sure.
I'm down.
We killed it on Thanksgiving, and I was one of my most listened podcast episodes as well with that man right there. So
awesome.
Everybody loved his energy. Loved the energy.
I'm wild, man. I love it. I love it. But all day, yo, thank you guys so much. It's been an ENT show. It has been an ENT show. I know it's a little different, but me and Warren talking about wrestling, bro. You can obviously tell two guys who love
entertainment,
wrestling,
baby.
Yes, definitely a lot of entertainment. Warren, thank you so much for coming back on. Be live. I'm back next week, baby. Like I said, we got a lot of shows. Thank you guys so much for the love, for the support, everything you bring into the channel. We doing nothing but growing forward and going forward. But yo, until next time, stay true, stay positive, pay attention all times, and I'll holler at you. Be good.